Hello everyone, in this session we will be continuing with DDL statements and moving to data manipulation statements. So before that we will just try to modify one or two entries, because as you can see all three entries we defined as type integer. So we will try to make the description field to string type. So we can change string, actually we can define it as a character type while accepting up to n number of characters, or a varchar variable number of characters defined as varchar. So the difference between char and varchar is that char will accept exactly n number of characters. So all the entries needs to be having exactly that many number of characters. Whereas with variable characters, you can have any number of characters up to n. So basically, we will try to modify the type of this same individual description to string type. So what we can do is we can change this tag to modify. Brackets are not required, and the type we will change from int to varchar 20. Actually we could have done this in create itself, but I am just trying to show you some use cases of alter. In that case we will just modify here to varchar 20. So once you run that query completed, you describe the table, it will show the change type. Now one more thing that we will usually want is we would like the IDs to be automatically filled by the system. So what we can do is, again same modify query, we can copy and we can take our definition of individual ID from there, and we can add a tag auto increment. So you can see here extra nothing is there. So once that query completes and we run it, we can see that one extra auto increment tag has also come here. So now we will be moving to DML statements. So DML data manipulation statements actually are insert, update, delete, and select. Some more are there that when time comes you will see. So basically select is in some languages taken as data query language, DQL, as a separate entity, but in MySQL it is considered to be part of the DML itself. So basically these four are used to do the insert will create data, select will read data, update to update, and delete 4D. I'll just change the order. So this is what is actually commonly called as CRUD or CRUD. So basically any DBMS, whether it be SQL or NoSQL, it will be defining some CRUD operations. So the CRUD operations in MySQL are basically this. And one thing you can notice, delete is corresponding to data in the table, which is a DML statement. Whereas we saw similar drop and truncate, which is for actual full table operations. So that are basically DDL commands. So you will just see these commands in action. So we already have the table height. So one thing we can do is we can insert into table 9 heights, height, only height is there, height values that we want to include. So height 160 and a string of type description. Okay, let's say person1. So let's run that. Okay, that gave me an error because I didn't specify which column goes to where. So that I can give here as insert into height, whichever are the column names. Because I have 3 columns here, so I didn't specify which data goes to which column. So I can specify that here, int id comma individual id comma visual description. So once I run that, it will complete my query. Then I can, to see the whatever data that is inserted, I can use a select statement. To print all the data in the table, I can use star. So select is actually very big thing. So we will see that in separate session. For this session, we will just restrict ourselves to select star from height. So that will print me a single column in the database. And as you can see, we did not pass any value for ID, but it was automatically given to for the system as well. Let's add one more value and then print once again maybe 140 and maybe person 2, and we will print the whatever is the entries currently. So now we got 2 entries. Okay. Now third one is update. So let's try to update one entry in this. So update table name height, and we have to give a set. Maybe let's change the description. Description as something as person 3. So any condition, let's say if you have any condition, I can specify that there. So I will tell like int id equal to 2. So basically what I am doing here is individual id equal to 2. For that person, I am trying to update his description as person 3. So let's run that. So this is what we can do if we actually, while entering data, we did a mistake or our data is not in some particular format that we want. We can do like this. So I can run that. Then if I see the table, you can know that this person 2 has been replaced by person 3. Now again, we can similar way you can delete star from height, where same, let's individual id equal to 1, let's delete. Okay. Star is not required here, only in select is required. Delete will delete the entire column, so star is not required. So that is why it was showing that when I had a star there, so you can see it was showing a red line stating that there's an error in the line. Okay. So now if I print that, you can see that row 1 is missing. Now again, let's try to insert once again and see what happens. If I insert this person 1 thing once again, and then try to print it, you can see that it got inserted as 3 because I have given the auto increment option. So it has not come as 3. Now let's see what will happen if I try to like again try to insert something as id 1. So I will have to, since auto increment is there, if I don't specify id, it will come as 4. So here I had to specify 1 also. Let's say person 1 1. So I have just given additionally this one hard coded value as well, and I run that, it got completed. So as you can see, it came in the entry 1. So this is what we can do for auto incremented columns. If we like delete something in between and we want to insert again, this is what we can do. Now we did delete, drop and truncate. One more that, as you can see, delete is a DML command, whereas drop and truncate are DDL commands. So I told that truncate we will see later, right? So because after some seeing some data in this only, we can actually tell the difference. So we will just see the syntax of truncate. Truncate table. So you just have to give the table name there. So let's try that. So let's try truncate height. Then let's try select star. As you can see, with the truncate, all the entries in the table got deleted, but whereas the table as such is actually existing. Whereas if you contrast with drop, if I do a drop with the table itself, including the schema, will go. Now if I try to do a select, that will give me an error because such a table is not there, query interrupted. That you can verify by checking show tables. You can see that no table is there. So that is basically the difference between truncate and delete. Truncate and drop, sorry. Drop will fully remove the schema also. Truncate will keep the schema, whereas it will remove the whatever data is inside the table. So I think we have covered all DML and basic DML and DDL statements. Now we will be seeing select in very much detail and the all other commands, some specific tags, syntax kind of thing. Now we just did a hands-on, right? All these things are having actual syntax, what are entries are there. If you see the reference manual, those things may look very complicated. So we will just break it down and see with this file itself how they can be structured into a more readable syntax format. So with that, we'll close this session. This is Arun signing off. Thank you all.